on the toilet, scrolling TikTok through your iPhone, don't try to say you don't do it, we all do it, and you drop your phone in the toilet. Oh no, now you need a new phone. So you go on your computer, and start looking at new iPhone models, but to your surprise and utter dismay, even the cheaper, lower end iPhone costs over $300 what you thought it would cost. Why is that, you wonder? How could this happen to me? Well, it's because the United States recently put 60% tariff on China, and because China is a major exporter and we import so many Chinese iPhones, that's why they're now more expensive. So today I'm going to be talking about tariffs, how they work, what they are, the economic and political impact of them, and the pros and cons. And I've been interested in this because I have followed politics and geopolitics for a long time, and I've always cared about stuff like the global trade, how global markets interact with each other. So I'm just going to go over a quick example of tariffs so you all can understand how they work. So let's say my boy Mo is living in China and he's selling feathered dinosaurs for $100 a piece. And let's say that Yulia is living in the United States, which I guess she already is, and she wants to buy a feathered dinosaur. So she buys a feathered dinosaur for $100 and Mo sells it, it's all good. But there's a problem. The United States has 20% tariffs on all imported Chinese feathered dinosaurs. So what does that mean? Does the Mo pay $20 extra to sell the feathered dinosaur, or does Yulia pay an extra $20 to buy the feathered dinosaur? Well, Yulia pays an extra $20. So people in China don't pay the tariff that the United States places on them. The people in the United States, the consumers, the businesses, the industry, they pay the tariff. So that's a point of confusion for a lot of people, but it's not China that pays tariff that's placed on them. It's the United States consumers and businesses. And now if you understand how tariffs work, let's talk about the economic and political impact, which is real quick. I'll go over a couple of different types of tariff. So there's specific tariff, which is like a flat fee. So let's say a 2-cent tax or 2-cent tariff on all imported mushrooms versus an ad valorem tariff, which is like a flat percentage, so like a 2% tariff on all imported mushrooms. So what are the economic and political impacts of tariff? Well, it can lead to higher prices for consumers, it can lead to reduced global trade, it can lead to inflation, reduced purchasing power for consumers. But for example, when Biden maintained the steel and aluminum tariff on imported Chinese steel and aluminum, when he maintained those that were put in place by Trump, it actually affected entire industries like the car industry, and so the cost of new cars increased substantially. So tariffs aren't always bad though. Tariffs can actually help domestic industries by reducing competition, which is kind of the point. The problem is that what if supply chains are disrupted and the country that places the tariff doesn't have the capacity to fill those supply chains? Like for example, Taiwan. Taiwan produces about 92% of the world's microchip. And so let's say that China invades Taiwan, takes it over, and then they stop exporting their microchips to us. So now we have a major problem because we're not getting all those microchips and we don't have the capability to be producing those microchips here domestically. So we can't just reroute those supply chains. We depend on Taiwan for those microchips. And we can also see examples of this. Some of y'all might remember in 2022 when used cars were actually more expensive than new cars. And the reason for that was because you remember the chip shortage, where new cars were so expensive to buy because there was not enough chips to make the cars. So used cars were then more expensive. The tariff can also lead to a trade war, and we've seen it play out between the United States and China in 2018, 2019, where the United States kept increasing tariffs. China placed tariffs of their own on our goods. It really just hurt both parties. And in 2019, the U.S. tariff on China rose about 20%, and Chinese tariff on the United States against us rose by about 16%. So tariffs, they can disrupt supply chains, and they often do. They make raw materials and components more expensive, and they raise costs globally. So according to a report by the S&P Global Mobility, China produces about 77% of the world's graphite, which is used in pencils. And so the United States imports about 42% of that graphite from China. And so if we start placing tariffs on Chinese graphite, that's going to affect consumers and it can affect manufacturers in the United States that make pencils, because graphite and pencils, that cost gets passed on to the consumers. So why is this relevant? Why should we even care about tariffs? Well, the president President-elect Trump is proposing a 60% tariff on China as well as a 10% tariff on other countries, even our allies like Australia or Canada or Great Britain. So the idea is that it protects domestic interests by bringing manufacturing back to the United States, right, America first. However, the critics say that it would reduce global trade, which that's kind of the point. Placing tariffs on a country and expecting it to not reduce global trade is like petting a porcupine and expecting it not to hurt. It doesn't work like that. And the critics also say they would start a trade war with China and lead to higher costs for consumers. So today I covered what tariffs are, how they work, the economic and political impact, and the pros and cons involved.
Back to the iPhone.
So if you need a new iPhone on January 19th, consider buying it before President Trump gets into office, but don't stockpile it like we did with toilet paper in March of 2020. You'll still get PTSD from seeing like 5 bags of toilet paper in Costco shopping carts. But it is good to be informed about how tariffs work so that you can vote for leaders who best represent you and your interests. Thank you.